UFC's back for their final pay-per-view of the year. Not the original 2 title fights at the top that we were promised, but still a damn good card top to bottom. Let's get into it. First fight of the night, we got Nate Landwehr taking on Ho Choi. So Landwehr is 18-5. That is 5-3 in the UFC. Korean Superboy is 15-4-1. That is 4-3-1 in the UFC. Landwehr has won 4 of his last 5. 3 of those wins have come by finish. Choi has only won 1 of his last 5 fights, but it was his last fight. So Nate the Train, 36 years old. Choi, 33 years old. I'm taking Nate the Train, baby. Nate Train, UFC, minus 135. Gonna parlay it. I'll get to it later. Dude, Nate, way more active. Choi's only had 2 fights in the span of Nate's entire 8-fight UFC career. Not to mention, Choi's only had 1 win in the last 8 years. Nate has had 12 wins in that span. Nate's also beaten decent UFC competition. Choi only has 1 win over someone currently in the UFC. So, odds way closer than I thought on that. Choi, not to be taken for granted, but still, run with Nate all day on that. Looking for anything else to take? How about the over 1.5? You'd have to parlay it. It's minus 170, but Nate's hit it in 4 of his last 5 fights, and Choi has hit it in 5 straight fights. The over 2.5, if you want to get plus money on it, it's plus 105. 10 of Landwehr's 23 pro fights have hit the over 2.5, and Choi has hit it in 2 of his last 5. So not as likely, but still a chance. And another prop I like is fight end by KO, plus 110. Half of Nate's pro wins have come by KO, and 12 of Choi's 15 pro wins have come by KO. And they've both been KO'd before twice. Next fight of the night, we got Bryce Mitchell taking on Kron Gracie, aka the Flat Earthers. Bryce is 16-2. That is 7-2 in the UFC. Kron is 5-2. That is 1-2 in the UFC. Bryce has won 3 of his last 5, but he was finished viciously in his last fight. Gracie also won 3 of his last 5, but he's lost 2 in a row, man. He's on a skid. Mitchell, 30 years old. Gracie, 36 years old. I didn't realize how old he was. I'm taking Bryce Mitchell here all day, minus 550. Pretty expensive price tag on it. I'm going to parlay it with Nate Landwehr money line. It's plus 106 for those two. I like that a lot. Bryce fought way better competition. His only 2 career losses came to the champ, Ilia Topuria, and the aforementioned vicious knockout by Josh Emmett, who's ranked number 8. So not bad losses at all. He does also have 2 wins over current top 15 opponents. Kron has not won a fight in 5 years. We want to talk about the butt scooting from last fight? I mean, come on, dude. We're taking Bryce Mitchell all day here. Dude, not a lot of value on this fight for like pretty much anything. But if you guys are looking for anything else to take, over 2.5, throw it in a parlay. It's minus 255. 6 of Mitchell's 9 UFC fights have hit it, and 2 of Kron's 3 UFC fights have hit it. Still a pretty expensive price tag. Another prop I like, I was hoping this was going to be plus money, not even close. Mitchell by decision, minus 200. 7 of his 16 pro wins have come by decision, including 6 of his 9 UFC wins, and Kron has never been finished before. The logic here is like, Kron's obviously great on the ground. Does Bryce want to take him down? I don't know. You're going to go to the ground with Gracie, so it'll be interesting to see play out, but I don't see either finishing the other. Next fight of the night, we got the rematch, baby. Ciryl Gane versus Alexandre Volkov 2. Rematch from 2021. Gane won a unanimous decision over 5 rounds, 2 50-45s, and a 49-46. Gane, though, he's 12-2. That is 9-2 in the UFC. Volkov is 38-10. That is 12-4 in the UFC. Since their first fight, he's gone 3-2. Volkov 5-1. Not to mention, all 3 of their combined losses in that span have come to champions. Kind of wild. Gane, 34 years old, which is so young for heavyweight. Volkov, 36, which is still surprisingly young for heavyweight. I'm going to take the over 2.5 here. It's minus 250. Pretty expensive price tag. But, I'm parlaying. Obviously, I'll get to it. 7 of Gane's 11 UFC fights have hit it, and 10 of Volkov's 16 UFC fights have hit it. That is 63% combined. So I like it to hit it. Also, most of these guys usually get scheduled for 5 rounders. This is a 3 rounder, so I think that helps a lot to hit the over. Looking for anything else to take? How about Gane money line? It's expensive, minus 330. You'd have to parlay it. But dude, he already dominated Volkov over 5 rounds, and this is only 3 rounds. Gane's only lost to Francis and John Jones. Like, those are really not bad losses. And his last 3 wins have come by finish. So I don't know. I considered taking the dog here. So if you want to take the dog here, Volkov money line plus 285. Hear me out. He's won 4 in a row, 3 of them against top 15 heavyweights. His only loss since their first fight came to Tom Aspinall. Not a bad loss at all. And Gane showed a lot of weaknesses against John. Maybe Volkov's going to hop all over those. I don't know. But plus 285, pretty good price tag on that. I like that a lot. Looking for anything else to take, super expensive, dude. But if you don't like the 2.5 over 1.5, it's minus 550. Definitely parlay it. 9 of Gane's 11 UFC fights have hit it, and 11 of Volkov's 16 UFC fights have hit it. That is 74% combined. And last but not least, still got to parlay it, but Gane by decision, minus 155. Only 3 of his pro wins have come by decision, but he did beat Volkov by decision in their first fight. He's also been scheduled for 7 straight 5-rounders, and 5 of those went to at least the 3rd round or later. So because this is a 3-round fight, Gane by decision seems like a likely bet. Co-main, probably the best fight of the night. Shavkat Rakhmonov taking on Ian Machado Garry. So Rakhmonov 18-0, 6-0 in the UFC. Garry 15-0, 8-0 in the UFC. All 18 of Shavkat's pro wins have come by finish. Garry's last 3 fights have gone the distance. All right. Shavkat, 30 years old. Ian Garry, still just 27 years old. I'm playing it safe here. I'm taking the over 1.5 rounds. It's minus 200. I am parlaying it with the over 2.5 in Gane. Volkov gets us plus 110. I like that a lot. Shavkat's hit the over 1.5 in 3 straight fights, and Garry has hit it in 6 of his 8 UFC fights. Looking for anything else to take? I mean, you gotta take Shavkat, right? Minus 350, definitely parlay it. Already mentioned all 18 of his wins by finish. A lot of those were 3-rounders. This is a 5-rounder. He's got 2 extra rounds to get the finish here. They have 2 mutual opponents, if you want to do some MMA math. Jeff Neal and Neil Magny. Shavkat sub both of them. Ian Garry went the distance with both of them. Also, tidbit here. They used to train together at Killcliff, and there was a rumor that Ian Garry got knocked the fuck out in training. And more than a few people pointed to Shavkat. No one actually came out and said who it was, but a lot of people insinuated it was Shavkat. So that's all I'm saying. Another prop I like on this is the over 2.5. It's minus 145. Shavkat's only hit it twice in 18 pro fights, but he did hit it 2 fights ago. And Garry's hit the over 2.5 in 8 of his 15 pro fights, including 3 straight. Shavkat by finish is minus 150 if you want to take a little off the top. All 18 wins by finish, we already mentioned. And he's got an extra 2 rounds. Mentioned that too. Garry never been finished before, though. And if you guys like Ian Garry as a dog, I mean, it is plus 315. He's undefeated as well. He has good cardio. We haven't seen Shavkat finish a 3rd round. We've seen Ian go 5 in Cage Warriors. Maybe Shavkat gasses. We don't really know. Ian did train with him. Maybe he knows something we don't know. You know, there's a little enough there where maybe you want to take a chance. I'm not, but maybe you want to. Main event, we got Alexandre Pantoja taking on Kai Asakura. So Pantoja, he's 28-5. That is 12-3 in the UFC. Asakura is 21-4. This is his UFC debut. Pantoja has won 6 in a row, 4 of those by decision. Asakura has won 5 of his last 6, and 3 of those coming by KO. Pantoja, 34 years old. Asakura, just 31 years old. This is my lone single of the night, guys. I'm taking fight to go the distance, plus 225 on a flyweight fight. I know both of these guys are finishers, but on a flyweight fight, I'll take that all day. 15 of Pantoja's 33 pro fights have gone the distance, including 3 straight 5-rounders. And while Kai has never been past the 3rd round, he's gone the distance in 3 of his last 5. Just never really been scheduled for it, you know? If you're looking for anything else to take, I like Pantoja money line minus 250. We're talking 15 UFC fights versus 0 UFC fights. I'll take the UFC vet all day. Asakura's best wins are Manel Kopp and Kyoji Horiguchi, and he got finished by both of them as well. Pantoja's on a 6-fight win streak in which he's beaten the number 1 contender twice and the aforementioned Manel Kopp, as well as many others. The over 2.5 I like. It's -125. Pantoja's hit it in 5 of his last 7, and Asakura has hit it in 3 of his last 6. And Asakura moneyline +230, worth a chance.
I'm worth 100,000 like Woodrow. When a ball call me Wilson, going overboard at the Hilton.